Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Owen with the Get Some podcast. I feel like I say this every week. I say my good friend, but this guy is Terrence J is my guest this week. We know we've done 2 films together, Think Like a Man 1 and 2. We'll get into how we got casted and how we got on 106 in Park and how we became so close to Michael B. Jordan and Will Packer and Deion Taylor and everything else, because Terrence is becoming a mogul right before my eyes. You know, he really is that guy transitioning from in front of the screen to behind the screen. Then he'll come back in front of the screen. But he's really making his mark behind the scenes more than in front of the camera. There's a lot of money behind the camera. To anybody trying to get in the entertainment business, there's a lot of money in front of it, but there's a lot of fucking money. That's where you can really get that fuck you money, is behind the camera. But this week was crazy. I went back on the road for the first time. I went to West Palm Beach, went to the Improv, and it was social distancing. Club holds 500. We got 250 in. We sold out every show. Once I got on stage, it didn't feel any different. My first couple shows was a little choppy. I was all over the place. I knew I was forgetting some bits and jokes. I was like, I got a run of my act where I talk about like 4 different Netflix shows that I've watched. And I was doing this joke before the lockdown. And now the joke has twisted, because now I'm like, since the lockdown, I've been watching Netflix a lot. And I kept forgetting this one show on Netflix, and I had to call my manager and ask her, and she's like me, she's got the mind of an elephant, and she rattled off the show right away, and I was like, I forgot I was talking about that show. Because I asked Brad, and Brad was just like, man, dang, I don't know. I was like, I don't know why you're with me. So here's what's funny. So my first show at the Box at West Palm Beach, it's funny, like I felt like I was an asshole, but I was trying to be somewhat careful of the coronavirus. So the club is super sanitized now. Like they take the temperature of the wait staff. All the wait staff has gloves, a mask on. Everything I want is there before I get there as far as food-wise, stuff on my rider, drinks, food. But I tell Brad, I say, hey man, I need you to take notes this first show because something new might pop in my head. I'm obviously talking about some of the protests I've been to. I'm talking about the George Floyd incident. I'm talking about the coronavirus, obviously. So there's so many things I'm talking about that I don't know how they're going to come out. I'm kind of working out on stage. So I tell Brad, take notes, man. I need you to take notes of everything I talk about on stage. I get off stage. Brad had like 3 words. And it was he had the number 1, and it said like statues. Then 2, it said Confederate flag. Then 3 was something else. I go, what is this? I was on stage for like almost 2 hours my first night back, because I was just working stuff out and all over the place. Brad had 3 words. I said, Brad, I was on stage for like almost 2 hours. What was this? He goes, yeah, but all the other stuff you had talked about before. I said, motherfucker, I ain't been on stage in over 3 months. I don't know what I was talking about. He goes, yeah, but I heard that stuff. I go, I understand that, but I need you to put it down so I can see it. I didn't want to route the whole joke. I just need a couple words, like bullet points, so I know what I'm talking about. I love my road manager, Brad, but that is not his strong suit. Confrontation and remembering my jokes. He'll tell me a joke that I told 8 years ago. Hey, man, you should try this joke. I go, yeah, I did that on my special. I can't use it anymore. It's already been on TV. So other than that, the crowds were great. They were laughing at everything. Everybody seemed geeked to be out. Some people were wearing masks, some weren't. They sanitized the microphone. So, there's a guy that goes up before me. They have a microphone to the side. He has to put a glove on, take the mic out, and then put a new mic in, and boom, 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 and I had to watch it. And even I went down there, and I wiped up the mic after I got on stage. So the microphone was sanitized, because that's one thing people don't realize in this business. Probably one of the nastiest things you can have in your hand is a microphone. Because if you're on a show with like 5 comics, There's projectiles, there's spit, there's everything hitting that microphone. And then you're grabbing it after another guy had grabbed it. Who knows where his hands has been, and the mic stand, everything. Literally, if you're going to catch the coronavirus, don't be on a show with 7 or 8 comics or 5 or 6 comics, and they're not switching the mic out. Because I think that's going to be the biggest change is we're probably going to have to wipe the mics down. Coming to the stage, Gary Owen. Got to wipe the mic down real quick. Then I'm wiping it down when I go up. That's a big change, I think, in this post-coronavirus. But where am I at this weekend? I am in Jackson, Mississippi this weekend at a place called Chuckles Comedy House. I've never been there. I'm not even sure if the coronavirus has hit Mississippi yet. Mississippi's always seems like it's a little slower than everywhere else. I probably just cost myself ticket sales because I just call Mississippi slow. It's just a slower pace of life. But yeah, I'm in Jackson, Mississippi this week. And then my schedule's always changing. But I'm going to the states where they're like, the governors are like, nah, we're opening up. We're going to get through this pandemic, but we're going to keep our economy open. So I'm going to Phoenix, July 3rd through the 5th. And then I'm in Arlington, Texas, which is Dallas, the week after that. And then I'm in Atlanta the week after that in July. So I always just tell people, just go to the website, GaryOwen.com. Everything's on there. And if you have an iPhone, I have an app. Just search Gary Owen. You can download my app, and it's free. And all my tour dates are on it. So that's the best way to keep track of my schedule. So I don't want to keep Terrence waiting too long, but I want to do my one-verse rap. And I went with the hottest rap song in the country right now by Roddy Ricch and DaBaby called Rockstar. Now, I was with my daughter listening to this in a car, and so she didn't send this to me, but we were both like vibing to it as we was driving a couple days ago. So I said, I'm going to just pull this up on my own and read these lyrics and see if I can figure it out. So, okay, this is Roddy Ricch and DaBaby, Rockstar, by a over 40 white guy. Keep a Glocky when I ride in the Suburban, cause the codeine had a young N-word swerving. I got the mop, watch me wash him like detergent. And I'm ballin', that's why it's diamonds on my jersey. Slide on oops side and flip the block back, yeah, yeah. My junior popped him and left him lopsided, yeah, yeah. We spin his block, got the rebound Dennis Rodman. You fool me one time, you can't cross me again. Okay. Let me see if I can figure this out. Okay, let me check. Okay. Keep a Glocky when I ride in the Suburban, cause the coating had a young N-word swerving. So basically, I keep the gun in the car, and my car is a Suburban. Cause I'm on the codeine right now. I'm not thinking clearly. It had a young man, out of his mind, young N-word swerving. So he's like, yo, I got the gun in the car, but the codeine, and I ain't really thinking right. So I'm swerving a little bit. I got the mop, watch me wash him like detergent. I don't know what the mop is. Dang it. I'm pretty sure watch me wash him like detergent is I will destroy anybody that gets in my way. But I don't know what the mop is. I don't know if the mop is a gun, or is it his hands, or is it his lyrics. I just don't know what the mop is. So when you guys watch this, somebody tell me what the mop is. But clearly, I got the mop. Watch me wash him like detergent. That means I'm cleaning these fools out. I'm cleaning all these guys out. Get out of my world. And I'm balling. That's why it's diamonds on my jersey. So he's got a lot of money. So when he wears a jersey, he gets them bedazzled, but it's probably real diamonds. So, or it's a necklace. It's a diamond necklace on top of his jersey. So he's got the jersey on with a diamond necklace on, and the diamonds are right here on his chest on the jersey. So he's balling. That's why it's diamonds on my jersey. Slide on oops, ops side. It could be the opponent's side. OPPS apostrophe. Slide on oops side and flip the block back. Yeah, yeah. My junior popped him and left him lopsided. Yeah, yeah. That means So I think it's opponents. It's his opponent. Slide on oops side and flip the block back. Yeah. My junior popped him and left him lopsided. So that means they went on the other side of town because they flipping the block back. Like, we taking our block back. This ain't your block no more. This is our side of town. You think it's your side of town, but it's our side of town. And his junior popped him and left him lopsided. That means somebody younger than him, the baby, hit this dude, left him lumped up, like put a bruise on him or a knot on his head. We spin his block, got the rebound, Dennis Rodman. You fool me one time, you can't cross me again. That means we done took over your block. You did me wrong. You did something to me that wasn't right. So I had to come back on you. So you thought I was done, like Dennis Rodman gets the rebound. It's like he's grabbing the ball like, oh, we thought we were getting the ball back. Nah, Rodman got the ball. He got the rebound. So you could fool me one time, but you ain't going to cross me again. That means, yeah, you got me one time. You fooled me. You tricked me. You lied to me. Ain't going to happen again, though. Promise you that. Yeah. So, and the yeah just adds a little bit to the song. You know what I mean? Keep a Glocky when I ride in the Suburban because the coding had a young N-word swerving. Got the mop, watch me wash him like detergent. And I'm balling, that's why it's diamonds on my jersey. Slide on my oops side, and flip the block back, yeah. My junior popped him and left him lopsided, yeah. We spin his block, got the rebound, Dennis Rodman. You fool me one time, you can't cross me again. I should have a deal. And I learned this before I was saying N-word, I said it means a black guy. I found out it doesn't mean a black guy. It just means any guy. It just means anybody. So the N-word now means anybody in rap lyrics. So I learned that from people's comments, and people educate me on this. So every week, I always ask my guest, you can work with one person, who would it be? And Terrence said Denzel. And I apologize, I didn't get that on camera. We were recording, and as we were recording, Terrence's laptop died. Since it died, and Terrence just texted me, I said, yo, we didn't get the last question in. Terrence, his dream is to work with Denzel Washington. But this is not my fault. I did not forget. Terrence's laptop died in the middle of our interview. Hence, if we was live in studio and this coronavirus wasn't happening, I could have just asked him. But we are at the mercy of outlets. And Terrence's computer died. So I had to call him, and Denzel is the person Terrence wants to work with one day. Dream co-star. We met in 2009 at the Zoe Summer Groove officially, but we didn't really talk. I just met him. Fast forward 2 years later, we end up doing a movie together that nobody thought was gonna be as big as it was. Fast forward 3 years after that, he let me stay at his house for like 4 days. And nobody knew. And I hope I left it clean because we're still friends. Former host of 106 in Park, proud North Carolina A&T Aggie, my good friend Terrence J's on the Get Some podcast this week. Terrence, what's up?
I came to get some. What's up, brother?
Let's get right into it. You were on Jeffrey Epstein's Manifest. How did that happen?
So I just watched the documentary the other day. I mean, what the fuck?
You ain't lying. I was like, Orgy Island.
That dude right there, man. Talk about a lifestyle. Wow. Crazy.
It just lets you know there's so much going on in the world that we have no clue. There's levels.
And the fact that, you know, his house could be next to anybody's house, you know, and I don't even know what to say about the documentary. I don't even know.
You think about the craziness in the world, and I mean, that he looked like such an average looking dude that could have been walking right next to you at Whole Foods, and you would have taken a double take.
Here's what fucking gets me about you, Gary. And so Think Like a Man was like one of my first movies, right? You study the script and you read over these lines, and so you have in your head this idea of how a scene is gonna play out. And I I still don't even know if Gary was written into the movie. Like, I don't actually think Gary ever had any lines. And Gary would always just like pop out of nowhere in a scene he wasn't written into, and then just say the funniest off the cuff shit that just like fucks you up. And still to this day, you're doing it to me right now. I have an idea of where I think you're gonna take this interview, and then before you know it, I'm knee deep in Jeffrey Epstein. I'm all the way there. This is what Gary does to everybody. This is what Gary does best. This is what you do best.
I like to throw people for a loop, you know? Because here's my thing. With the podcast and me talking to people, and especially we're in the pandemic, so I can't get everybody in studio. I told everybody I want to get guys that I know on my show. I don't want to have a stranger until I get in studio, because I want to be able to throw people for a loop and know I'm joking.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I don't want somebody to be like, "What? I went on the manifest? Was I? What? Oh, I didn't mean that."
And even with that, right, as you go into a Gary joke, you still have to think about the fact that now in the media age, people will just take whatever clip and then just use that, right? So then it'll just be like, you're on the Epstein thing. Before I could even speak, cut, boom, done. It's all out there. Like, we live in a crazy world, Gary. We live in a crazy world. That's why you're a very dangerous man. You're a very dangerous invite here.
I'm safe, man. I'm safe. Come on. It's all to love, Terrence. It's all to love. Now, I Wikipedia'd you just to make sure I was prepared, even though I know a lot about you already. So I just want to start out with, you were born in New York, but raised in North Carolina, correct?
Yeah.
At what age did you move from New York to North Carolina?
My mom says 9. I say 11. I was kind of like back and forth, so early childhood.
Oh, so you have memories of being in New York.
Oh, yeah. That's why we moved. You know, New York back in the 80s, I was born in 82. So, 80s, early 90s was a rough place. And so there was gang activity happening right on the street. I remember looking out of the window and seeing somebody get stabbed when I was young. And my mom was like, oh, my God, we have to move. So we moved from North Carolina. We had some family down there, and she got me out of the city at the time.
As a 9 or 11-year-old, which we'll split the difference. We'll say 10. You go from New York, I'm assuming urban inner city, to rural North Carolina. What goes through a 10-year-old's head when you see like black people on tractors now and farmers and, people growing their own gardens?
It's so crazy you say that, because the house that we ended up moving to in North Carolina was literally next to a cotton field. Like, there's literally cotton right there. And so the transition between, being around skyscrapers to being in the middle of nowhere, it was definitely tough as a kid, but I was always an introvert growing up. And I was an only child. I didn't have any brothers or sisters. So I kind of just was always an imaginative person and just stuck to myself early on. It didn't weigh on me as much as I look back and I'm like, oh, that was a really crazy jump. I just kind of always made do with whatever I had. So I tried to find ways to figure it out. And I look back at it, it was a blessing. I don't think I would have been able to start my career in radio and in TV as young if I was still in the city, just because there's so much competition and so many things going on. I think being where I was gave me a real opportunity to focus on the things that I wanted to do. So I really value my time in North Carolina. It was amazing.
You started getting on the radio in high school, correct?
Yeah. At age 14 or 15, I was working at a farm. My mom met somebody at a grocery store that worked at a farm. So I started working at a farm. I was painting the barns and getting cobwebs out of. Yeah, true story. The local Foot Locker had their company retreat at that farm. And so I met the people that worked at Foot Locker and then ended up getting a job at Foot Locker. And then when I worked at Foot Locker at about 16 years old, the local radio station did a remote at Foot Locker, a live broadcast from Foot Locker. And when I met the people from the radio station, I asked for an internship, and that's how I started. So I was on the radio with my own radio show when I was about 16 years old, 17 years old.
Dude, I could completely see you in high school hustling people at Foot Locker. Yeah, those look good, man. No, that's the hot shit right there.
Yeah. All day.
Was you the Foot Locker worker that hemmed you up as soon as you walked through the door in the mall, or did you let people browse a little bit?
You know, they had me in the back. I was a scraggly kid. I used to be the stockroom guy. So I never been behind the register, and I was like the runner, you know. And then eventually, I think by the time I moved up to being a salesperson, I was like on the radio at the same time. So radio is a very introverted career. Like, so people think I have a big personality, but I actually have like a really like smaller personality. It's weird. But no, I wasn't the guy hemming you up in the front. I was more shy back then.
I was gonna say, I could completely see somebody going in buying a pair of tennis shoes and you going, you need these insoles too. You want the spray? The spray will keep them clean, baby. No, I want some fucking shoes. I didn't come here for shoe spray.
To sell something, 100%.
So then, obviously, my daughter's going to A&T next year. God willing, hopefully they'll be back in school. And then you go to A&T. Was that the first choice? Or did you have was you between A&T and other schools when you was going to college?
I was working, like I said, at a radio station, and I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life. So my mom was really the one that was like, look, you have to break this mold. You have to go to college. Nobody in my family had ever went to college, so I didn't even really want to go. And my grades in high school weren't great. And I applied to a bunch of colleges. I applied to, you know, all the colleges in North Carolina, NC State, all of those. And I didn't have the grades to do it. So I didn't get accepted anywhere. And North Carolina A&T was like one of the only schools that gave me a shot. You know, they gave me an opportunity. So whenever I talk about my love for black colleges, I think for us, you know, they're essential because they give opportunity to a lot of people. And so when I started at A&T, I had like a 2.5 or almost a 2.3 GPA, if I can remember. And I was on academic probation. And by the time I graduated, I had a 3.7, student body president, member of Omega Psi Phi. But it really took those 4 years in college to get to where, you know, I was there. So I always tell people, man, black colleges mean everything to me. And that's why I support them to this day.
And I think it's important you say that because when we did our campus visit with my daughter, we had like 4 schools lined up for her to visit. We went to A&T and canceled the rest. Because literally, she said, this is where I want to go. And as I'm walking around campus, as a middle-aged white dude walking around here, it struck me, I go, these are the black people that the media should be highlighting. Yeah. We get so many bad images of black men, especially, in the media. But if you go to any HBCU, well, those are the images that should pop in your head when you think of black people. As I'm walking around campus, I go, where's all the media coverage with this?
and you know, there's this stereotype and this misconception that HBCUs lack in anything, right? Like as if we don't have the right books or the right infrastructure. But when you go to North Carolina A&T's campus and you see, you know, our cafeteria and our gymnasium and our classrooms and our dorm rooms and everything, I mean, it is super state of the line, and the experience that you get there is second to none. And I would challenge any student that went to any school versus, you know, our alumni and our student body, man. We got some really smart, you know, kids, and you know, I really heavily support HBCUs.
I don't know how to be alumni of other schools, but the minute I announced that on social media that my daughter's going to A&T, I had so many people from different cities hitting me up. Like, some people thought we were still in Cincinnati. I didn't know there was this whole Cincinnati A&T alumni group. Like, they meet for lunch and they get together.
Really?
and they just.
Oh, we're all over. Aggies are all over.
All over. It's almost like in the NFL, you got Pittsburgh Steelers fans. They're everywhere.
Exactly. Everywhere.
And you don't realize it. It's the same with A&T. I didn't realize it. I get people just come up to me at the airport And just like, okay, you about to be an Aggie. I was like, okay. I'm a little disappointed homecoming's canceled because I was geeked.
I can't believe you're going to miss your first homecoming. So next year, you got to do the comedy show. We got to do the comedy show and do the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. I did the comedy show back in 2012. I did the comedy show. And I had to leave, though. I didn't get to stay for the whole weekend.
Is the Gary Owens poster behind your head? Like, is that supposed to be there to, like, let people
my show.
know? Like, is this like a flow into, like, Gary, like, right over the thing? I don't know. I just feel like having the Think Like a Man poster would be, like, more subtle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like it's very, I don't know.
Look, Terrence, if you got a TV show with your name on it, it should be front and center, wherever you're at.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
All right.
If you had the Terrence J show, it would be there. I guarantee you it would be surrounded.
I guess
by
having
the other
daycare
posters.
right over your head would be a lot worse.
It's Daddy Daycare. That was a huge monster movie I was in, by the way.
It was a big film.
Yeah, it was huge. It made more money than Think Like a Man, by the way. Not to brag. Yeah, well over 100. It's a kids movie, man. Kids movies, you got to buy 4 tickets. You don't buy 2, you buy 4.
Hey, Will, Gary's over here talking shit.
It is what it is. I'm just going off numbers. Just numbers, baby.
Just numbers. Man, lie when the lie numbers though.
It's funny. I've had Ely on, I've had Kevin on, and I've had Will on the podcast. And I'm gonna get everybody from the cast eventually, obviously. As I talked to Ely and I talked to Will especially, I said, have you ever been
fourth in line on your Think Like a Man friendships? Like, what the fuck, bro? Have you ever stayed at Will's house? Have you ever stayed at Will's house? So you stayed at my crib and I get the 4th call?
Romney canceled. You would have been 5th, but I'm just kidding. Romney's the one I got to be ready for. I want him in studio because he's going to go. He's going to talk, and he's going to tell me what's wrong with my diet.
Yeah,
what's wrong with my skin?
Remember
what's wrong with the
earth? Shower heads that year?
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's get into that. What Terrence is talking about, when we did Think Like a Man 2, we were in Vegas shooting, and everybody's staying at Caesars. And Romney comes with a gift for everybody, and he wrapped it up like a gift. Like, he put it in a little gift bag, and it was a shower head to filter the water so the water's soft on your skin. And everybody just was looking at him like, what? And he came with a wrench. He installed it. And everybody shower, and we all got this set the next day going, dude, my skin feels amazing. What was in that shower head?
So here's what's crazy. So he installed mine, but then I ended up like moving to another room. Like so I didn't have him do it again. I was like, I'm not gonna make him install the thing again. And so I didn't use it, and my skin was dry as hell. My skin was fucked up. And I realized, like, oh, Romney was right. Like, the stuff that's when I really realized that the stuff Romney said is not just like make-believe stuff. Like, he was completely accurate. If you did not use that shower head, your skin was gonna be trash.
Romney Malco, if they ever replace the Dos Equis man, the most interesting man in the world, if they want to replace that guy, Romney's got to be next.
100%.
He's got to be next.
100%.
I've never met anybody he made me gluten-free. He explained to me about gluten. And here's how he did it, Terrence. He goes, Gary, you got your intestines, right? Your intestines right here. When you eat food, there's tentacles in your intestines and it breaks down the food. And this is how your tentacles move. He goes, when you have gluten in your system, it slows the tentacles down. He goes, pretty soon they're not moving. Then you get clogged up. And I go, I'm good. I'm not eating gluten no more.
Wow.
But I'm at a restaurant and I'm looking at his hands like this. What the fuck is he doing to me right now?
You have tentacles. And it's, hilarious.
They're in your intestines and they stop, you know? We got sidetracked since you're my 4th guest. I apologize. Hey, you're before any of the girls. I got the guys on first.
Well, it's good to know you're a misogynist. Great.
But listen, you gotta, listen, in my defense, I had to get Kevin when I could get him. I had no call on that. Kevin was like, hey, I can do it this week. Done. I pushed D-Ray for Kevin. I go, D-Ray, I had you, but I got to push you back. D-Ray was a little in his feelings, but he's all right. But Mike was my first guest because we went on vacation together, not together in Hawaii. So I had to get him on first. And then Will called me. So don't act like I reached out to Will. Will called me.
I don't believe that.
We wanted to talk about football because he was excited Tom Brady got picked up by the Bucs. So he wanted to talk a little football.
And now how far in? You've been doing this a long time, though.
Well, here's what happened. I had the podcast, and I did over 100 episodes, but I was doing it on my own. And then I got with a company, and they said, hey, we want to get behind it and start having guests and gonna build a studio.
Do they
and
hire
everything.
black people or all the?
Yeah, we got a lot of black people on my staff.
Okay, all right.
I'm making sure.
It's a lot of people on the Zoom. I don't see no people of color.
There's 2 people on the Zoom, Terrence. There's
I'm
2
doing that
white
to everybody.
engineers.
Yo, that's what I'm doing to everybody, by the way. Literally, I go into the grocery store. No extra slots here. No black people can work behind the rest. Just, sorry. We're fighting a good fight right now, Gary. Let us have our moment, all right? Let us have our moment.
I'm on the squad.
I know. You're one of us. That's what I'm saying.
Did you see the responsibility video? Where all the white people said I take responsibility, and I said I didn't take responsibility for shit.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And, there are some white people, right, where, like, as a black person, if you say, nah, they're one of us, black people would still get mad. Like, yo, you can't be giving away the car to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But with you, like, it's actually, like, a known thing. Like, it's actually good. You're good. You're one of us.
But here's the thing about me, though, Terrence. For me with black people, I'm not just saying I got black friends or I did a movie with black people. Like, I go to black clubs.
Yeah. Oh.
I go to black-owned establishments all the time to support, and sometimes they're terrible. I ain't gonna lie. It's all the black establishments. All of them aren't great. I've been to some restaurants. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna come back here again.
Now, listen, if you don't just parade around with the culture, you're not like half in, half out. Like you really. 365, you're always repping the culture. Before it was the popularized thing to do so. So that's why you get my respect. You're really of the culture.
Okay, this is funny. This is the first time I hung out with Terrence at a club. We're shooting the first Think Like a Man. And I knew Terrence was the guy because he'd always come in he'd be like, on the first one, he was a little hungover sometimes. And he'd be like, oh, so-and-so had a record release last night. And he's in the makeup chair. He's got these things under his eyes to keep the swelling down, and the makeup's putting the eye drops in so his eyes aren't white, or are white. They're not red.
Wow. Yep.
And so if I had to want to do anything, I was like, hey, anything going on Saturday? And I immediately asked you and Fred, and we'll get into Fred in a minute. Fred is Terrence's left and right hand, by the way. I show up and I text you. I said, Terrence, I'm here. And you said, all right, Fred's going to come get you. So you got like 300 black people trying to get into this club. Terrence is in it. Fred comes out, is looking for me. He's doing this. And I'm one white guy going, Fred! So Fred goes like this. He points at me. Then he goes, who else is with you? I said, I'm by myself. He goes, who the fuck goes to a nightclub by themselves?
I've never seen that in my life.
I said, you guys were here. Who was I going to bring?
Which is, by the way, thank you for that. Travel light, travel far. I've always loved that about you. You never came with a big entourage. You always fit in. Like you're the perfect club wingman.
Here's the thing, and I've always told my guy that, and Brad. Brad's usually with me if I got anybody. But I always said there's nothing worse than a guy rolling up to somebody's table with like 5 guys. And nobody's in their pockets to help with the bill or nothing. You're just like, oh, you guys just want to drink all my shit and leave. Got it.
The worst. Nah, you're definitely good at the club. We've been a lot of clubs together over time, bro. A lot.
Yeah, we've had some good nights. We'll keep that off the podcast. But
100%.
No. So when we got Think Like a Man, was you the last person cast it?
Yeah.
You was the last one. Do you know who they were looking at, or? You don't know. They just came to you.
I have my ideas in my head. I'm not sure. I know what happened, though. I was in New York doing 106, I believe. Will called me. We had done Stomp the Yard 2 together. And he called me for the table read because I think whoever they were looking at, I don't know if it was Columbus Short or it was somebody, bigger, better actor than me at the time was supposed to do the role. And I think that person was just unavailable for the table read. I'm not sure who it was. And so I came in to do the table read, and I didn't know what a table read was. So I like memorized the entire script. And I remember sitting there and everybody was looking on page and I was just kind of like going off. And I remember Clint and Will had a conversation. It was like, yo, we might as well just get him. And even if he's not good, at least he knows, at least he'll be able to set Kevin up for jokes. And and that was how I got it. Yeah. And I didn't get really, I think I got like SAG minimum or something like that. I think all of my money was back end because everybody else was much more expensive at the time, I'm sure. So I think I was the economical choice, and I'm really appreciative because it changed my life.
I think it changed everybody's lives. I mean, everybody was doing their thing, but like Jerry, when I was talking to Jerry Ferreira, who I haven't had on, by the way, he's gonna be on, but he said when he was at the table read, it struck him. He said, "Oh my God, this is all set up for Kevin to hit a home run." He goes, we just didn't know how far he was going to hit it."
Yeah.
So that movie definitely made Kevin Hart the star, and he took off with it. I think it made Will Packer somebody that the studios were like, "Oh, we can give him more money to do more movies." Mm-hmm. For me, it helped me tremendously because I was doing stand up and I was headlining, I was doing okay, but I was on like one of these like 4 or 5 year runs where I was like on a hamster wheel. I was this money wasn't changing. I was doing fine, but it was just boom, boom. And then everything started to happen after Think Like a Man came out. And just everything just took off. And I think it did that for a lot of people.
And you stole, you stole every scene that you were in, you know? I mean, with the exception of Kevin, you know, you were definitely the funniest person on set. And a lot of times as funny or funnier than him. I mean, you held your own, you know? And when you and Kevin together, when y'all got into y'all little rhythm, it was undeniable, man. Y'all just two of the funniest people I know.
Well, I appreciate that.
And but it's just a really good team. Like Romney is super funny, and people don't it was just the right group of people.
It was, and I was talking when I was talking to Ely and Will about it. I said, Ely said most movies is like summer camp. You go, you have fun with people, and then everybody goes on with their lives and go in different directions. I don't think I've ever worked on any production, TV show, movie, anything where all of us like stayed in touch and all of us like generally root for each other. Yeah. Like I love getting those not texts, but the emails that we're all on the email chain and somebody's got something coming out and we're just asking for the support of our other cast members. Yeah. I've never been a part of anything like that. Now Will said Girls Trip was similar with the 4 girls. But as far as like just here we are, because I don't know if you realize this, and I talked about it with Ely, we spent kind of 4 straight years together because 2011 we shot the first one, 2012 it came out, so we had to do the press runs together. 2013 we shot the second one, and 2014 it came out. That's like 4 summers we all hung out.
Yep.
In a row, heavy, and especially in Vegas, that really bonded everybody.
And it was at a time where, you know, everybody was doing their thing. Like Gabby had a career, and Taraji had a career, and Regina had a career. But I feel like this was just a pivotal moment for everybody. And from there, it was like, it went from, you know, everybody had a career to like superstardom, like multiple superstars off of the cast, and like, you know, really big hit home run shows that spawned after it. So I think it was just a really special time for everybody. And like you said, just, you know, spending all of that time together consecutively in that pivotal time in everybody's life was just special. You know, whenever, you know, I just talked to Regina the other day, and Gabby's my neighbor, and, you know, Lala is like my sister. I mean, we just have a really good, you know, Megan and everybody, you know, we just had a really good group of people.
It really was. It's like you just added like 5 brothers and 6 sisters you didn't know you had. You know? Now, how did
and everybody's still doing well. Like nobody's like on drugs yet. Nobody's like fucked up. Nobody's in jail. Or, you know what I'm saying? Knock on wood. Like everybody's still alive and legal. And knock on wood, we doing all right.
Yeah, I know what nobody's doing though. Whatever happened to?
Yeah, nobody. If we ever do a third one, it's not gonna be like the one we got to bail. We got to bail Rodney out for the third movie.
Oh man, this guy's struggling.
Get Rodney to get Kevin on the line. Kevin, got to get Rodney out.
We didn't really have the wild ones because I'm trying to think. Nah, nobody was really super wild. Nobody's really super wild. But even if somebody was, Romney would be the drug counselor. He'd get you out of it.
Romney would be the drug counselor. Honestly, if I look back, I would have made different decisions on all of it. Like I was definitely like, going out more than I should have and partying more than I should have. I was the youngest. I was the baby. So if I could go back, I would have definitely like not done some of that because I know I was wilding.
But here's the thing, and this is great about having Will and Tim. I mean, it was just like they sometimes you got to release. You're on set a lot. There's a lot of stress, and that's what I like about Will, especially. Like he knows he's not like you went out. You're not taking this job serious. Like he said, I know there's a stress behind this and some pressure behind it, and sometimes you just got to have a release. You know what I mean? To get out a little bit. Now, how did you, two people in your life I see you with all the time, and I'm curious, how did you and Lala get so close?
Think Like a Man 1, we were getting close. Think Like a Man 2, we got really close. And I think Lala and I have kind of had similar career trajectories to a certain extent. She was doing TRL, I was doing 106. We kind of both started as hosts. We were both like in big public relationships kind of at the same time and would kind of counsel each other. And, we've both gone through a lot. And then we just kind of just connected, like I don't have many people that I like consider like a real sister. And as an only child, I take that word really seriously. And La's just one of those like really solid people to where if she was on set shooting something in the middle of the night and I call her and I'm like, yo, I got to talk to you. She would like take a minute and walk off and like hold me down. So, I mean, she's just one of those people, man. She's just a really solid person. And yeah, I mean, if you get to know La, you just know like she's super like solid and grounded and will just hold you down. And so, yeah, I'm really blessed to have her.
I thought you guys knew each other like you was close before the first Think Like a Man. So this relationship kind of blossomed after?
We knew each other for sure. But I mean, like you said, being on set like that every single day was like, that was just a completely different experience. And I mean, again, all of this is now, it's been over 10 years. How old is
9
the first
years.
one?
We shot in 2011, the first Think Like a Man. So it's been 9.
So, I've known La for 15 years for sure. But really, really got to know her on set of the first one.
Well, let me tell you where I knew Lala was the coolest was she had a premiere party for her show. While we were shooting Think Like a Man, she had the premiere party for her Full Court Life, the reality show. So she just saw me on set, and I barely knew her. I literally just came up and introduced myself because I didn't have any scenes with her in the first one. And I said, hey, I'm Gary, blah, 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 being me. And she goes, hey, we're doing my premiere, blah, 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 in a couple days. You got to come through. And I said, okay. And we exchanged numbers. And then she texted me like, are you coming? I said, yeah, I'm coming. Okay. And then when I got there, everyone, and you were there, we all went to her house afterwards.
Yup.
And she had literally the tiniest pool I've ever seen in LA. It was so tiny. I go,
oh my God. House of, yeah.
I go, oh my God, look at your tiny pool. That's the first thing I noticed. It was so little. I go, you can do a lap and be touching both sides.
That house was fire though.
The house was amazing. Yeah. But that pool was so tiny. It was almost like
cabana outside, the little area. It was fire.
Oh, I'm not knocking the house. I'm just saying it was a tiny pool. It was so tiny. And then, but I'm standing out front. And this was like pre-Uber. Like Uber was just starting to hit. So nobody was at Uber. So I think I was literally waiting on a cab. And she goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm just waiting on a cab. She goes, where are you going? I said, I'm just going back to my room. And she goes, nah, you're coming with us. And then went over there and hung out. And I go, oh, that's when I knew. I go, okay, she's just the coolest chick. Because she made sure I was included in the whole night. And I was by myself.
There's no pecking order. It's not like you gotta be like La is like super close with, Kim and Kelly Rowland and Beyonce. Like she has big, high level friends, and you could be the lowest person. She treats my brother Fred, who is not the lowest person, but whether you're on TV or not on TV, me and La, we went to Bermuda last year together. Actually, me, La, and Megan, and some other friends. And man, just watching like Lala and Megan, like the way they would talk to like any like local person, you know, that would bring out food or whatever. Like they would talk to the local Uber driver in Bermuda with the same amount of love and affection as they would, you know, an Oscar or Grammy winning person. Like they're just very solid people.
Yeah, yeah. Now let's get into Fred. Okay, anybody watching this podcast, unless you know Terrence, you're not going to know Fred. But Fred's a celebrity in himself.
He is.
Because celebs, if you can't get a hold of Terrence, call Fred. Fred answers the phone every time.
He's a legend.
And Fred got mad at me because I said I left tickets for him to one of my shows, and somebody goes, "Who's Fred?" I said, "That's Terrence's assistant." And Fred said, "Motherfucker, did you call me?" That's the first time he got like snippy when I go, "I'm sorry, what should I give you?" He goes, "I'm way more than that." I was like, my fault, Fred.
Yeah, for sure. And I've never called him that shit.
That was my fault. But I was telling that to somebody to make sure he got in backstage and everything. Yeah. And then I said, "I'll never do it again. I apologize." But Fred went to A&T with you, right?
Yeah.
And then he was with you the entire journey up until you got 106 in Park. Like he was riding with you to all these auditions.
I'll give a few key Fred highlights, and then I'll ring it in. So a mutual friend introduced me to Fred. The day I met Fred, I was hosting a party and I was passing out flyers to put on. I was putting them on cars. This is back before Instagram and Facebook. So you literally
that's at A&T, right?
Yeah, back at A&T.
Okay.
So we were college freshmen or college. I was a college freshman. I think Fred was a sophomore or maybe senior. I can't remember. The day I met Fred, I had a big stack, 10,000 flyers in a box. And the moment I met him, somebody introduced, he was like, "Yo, you need help?" And that was it. Like from that moment, we've been business partners. He took half of the stack, passed them out, and then we went from passing out flyers to promoting parties to I would DJ and host the parties, and he would work with the promoters and get the money and do the whole thing. So he started as my manager super early on.
So hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on, I don't want to stop you. So you're passing out flyers, and Fred doesn't know you from anybody, and just walks up and says, "Yo, you need help?"
A girl that was in class with me was just like, "Man, this kid is really motivated." And then she had already known Fred and was like, "I need you to meet this other kid because he's really motivated." And so we met when we were, 17, 18 years old, freshmen. And she was like, she just plugged us together and it was serendipitous. I never would have met him if she didn't do it. Her name was Courtney. And
wow.
She introduced us. And then the day that we met, we started passing out flyers. Fast forward, about a month later, we was in an IHOP with our boy Travis, and I forgot
Travis Bond.
Yeah, Travis Bond.
Yeah,
and I don't know how it started, but some guys got mad at Travis or Fred or somebody, and before the fight could come to me, Fred punched the guy right in the face, knocked him out cold, and I didn't even have to lift a finger.
Fred got a one-hitter quitter in.
Fred. So me and Fred have been in multiple fights over the years. Fred got a couple. I've seen Fred do like 3 one-hitter quitters.
Fred's got that?
Fred got a mean one-hitter quitter.
But he's wiry. I've seen him with his shirt off and stuff. He's got that quick twitch build. Like, he could probably hit you, wouldn't see it coming.
For sure. Like we're both fighters, right? I'm always like a scrappy, I'm gonna smack you and punch you and then back up,
Yeah.
But like Fred will really get in there and really throw a punch. So first time we hung out, he knocked somebody out. I was like, okay, well I know he has my back.
Right.
And then we pledged in a fraternity together. So then I was the 4 and he was the 5 and Travis Bond was the 6.
This is the Q Dogs, right?
Yeah. Omega Psi Phi.
Yeah.
And so he's been my brother for life. And then bringing it all full circle, when I graduated from college, I kind of gave up on entertainment and was just going to work in a marketing job. And Fred was the one that called me and was like, "Yo, there are auditions for BET. Come to New York." So I stayed on Fred's couch. And when I got cut from the audition, Fred is like drove me with Travis. We went to the next audition site. And so if it wasn't for having, my boys in my life, I never would have pursued my career and kept going. And so bringing the story full circle is, a lot of people think to make it in the entertainment industry, they think you have to reach up, right? They think, oh, let me find somebody that's already made it or find somebody that's famous to lift me up, right? And I always say the most important thing is reaching across. There's somebody that's your age, that's in your life, that has similar goals, has similar aspirations and ambitions. And it's important to partner with those people. And so, my business partner, I'd rather give 10% to my boy who we came up together than to find, some Hollywood manager to tell me what I know we can figure out on our own. So I always just preach to people, man, keep those that love you and support you close. And that's just so important, man. And don't ever give up on them. And so now, we're going on 20 years now, because we was freshmen in 2000. So yeah, we're going on 20 years now.
So those one-hitter quitters are coming slower.
Much. Well, he's
Fred, what happened?
Fred's in the gym still every day. My one-hit quitters are gone. Like you can push me right over. I'm done.
Right. And you're not fighting at IHOP anymore. You're fighting at crustaceans.
No.
You stepped up the restaurant game.
Give me that crab.
Give me garlic noodles. I think that's important because, anybody behind the scenes that knows Fred, you meet Fred within 5 minutes. You love that dude. And by you saying him helping with the Flyers, he came to one of my shows in Virginia Beach 5 years ago. I'm out front hustling my T-shirts and doing meet and greets. I look over, Fred took over the T-shirt selling. He done separated into small, medium, large, extra large. He's handling the money. And I'm looking at him like, okay, I know Fred, but do I trust him? I was like, I know how many T-shirts I brought. All the money's there. And I text you, I said, dude, this dude is working. And you go, that's just Fred. That's just Fred. He just came to the show, hung out. He sees me coming out for the meet and greet, and it got a little overwhelming in the lobby. And my guy's Brad. Brad's like my Fred to you, but Brad, he's not good with confrontations. Brad ain't gonna hit a one-hitter quitter. Brad's only fight story was he got knocked out at a Burger King. That's the one fight story he told me. He goes, yeah, man, this dude hit me. I don't know what happened. I was under the table. So Brad's good for me because I can get high strung, so he brings me down. Yeah. But when shit gets a little chaotic, Brad will just step back and be like, whew, man, this is crazy.
And that's his voice too. That's the voice too.
But Fred, I looked over, Fred, like, Brad, you handle the pictures, I got the T-shirts. So the fact that you said you met him and he said, let me help you with the Flyers, that just, I was like, I can totally see Fred as an 18-year-old freshman doing that completely.
All day, still to this day.
And there's nobody, I don't think there's anybody I've met that has a bad word to say about Fred.
I hope they don't do that bad word to say about me. Jesus Christ.
A couple. I ain't gonna say nothing. Yeah, the guy that didn't get the job at 106 in Park, I'm sure he still calls you an asshole. It's always down to one or two. Now that's and you said that about Fred, and I definitely wanted to touch on that during the podcast. Was you kind of gave up on the entertainment business, so to speak. Fred tells you, hey, they're having auditions for BET. Did you know it was 106 in Park?
It wasn't even 106. They had a new face contest, and it was just like an open casting call. And so thousands of people, were in line, standing out there in line to get it. And like I said, the first time I auditioned, I got cut. But I remember I was in line for so much that the kid that was in front of me, I remember he had curly hair. And he didn't get cut. He got a green check on his page. And I thought to myself, man, if the guy that was standing right in front of me could make it to the second round, I at least got to make it to the second rounds of the auditions. Fred was the one like, let's just go. Let's go get it. And so we drove from New York down to Atlanta and we auditioned again. And that's when I got it. And, even when I got it then, I was still like understudying under Big Tigger, who was a mentor to me. And so it was still like almost a year between starting at BET and actually getting 106 in Park.
So then you go down to Atlanta you get the green check, and then what do? Do they fly to New York? They take you to New York, or what happens after that?
Yeah, they flew like the top 10, maybe it was, to New York. And so Roxy was part of that top 10. And then Lamorne Morris, who's on New Girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lamorne was on the 10 with us. And Alicia Renee, some really cool people. Then once we got there, then it was like a competition. And I think they selected 5 out of the 10 or 4 out of the 10. And I think, if I can remember, the 4 or 5 was like me, Alicia, Renee, Roxy, and Lamorne. And so that was it. And then, the rest is history.
I always say when people that aren't in the industry, they always come up and be like, well, are you excited? Like, your movie's coming out? Are you excited? I go, no, the excitement is the phone call saying you got the part. That's the exciting part. Once you've done the movie, you're at work, and then the movie coming out, it's exciting, but you're kind of removed from it from 9-10 months. How did you feel when BET calls it, yo, we're going to have you replace AJ at 106 and Park?
It was life-changing, and I didn't even think about, because we got a lot of backlash. I mean, people hated it in the beginning especially, but at that point, man, I was literally living on Fred's couch, man. I didn't have a pot to piss in, and so I was just excited to have a job and so just excited to have a career, and it was life-changing, man. That situation, Think Like a Man in 106 and Park definitely changed my life. And then E-News changed my life in a different way, but those were definitely life-changing.
I remember I was at your house with Travis, Fred, and Schaefer.
Yeah.
Schaefer is me if I was a lawyer.
Yeah.
he's a white dude.
1,000,000%.
What did he do? He went to North Carolina, but then he went to NC Central?
Yeah, he went to Central, and he went to Howard.
Howard. It's a white dude, people. This is a blonde-headed, paler than me white dude.
Yep.
With so much flavor. So much
like
flavor.
Red, kind of, much like aesthetically the whitest guy you could ever meet in your life.
Until you're around him.
Until you're around him. And he just
vibe.
He loves black culture, loves black women, loves black music. He's just one of us,
And there's one thing to love it, but there's another level to appreciate it and then to ingrain yourself in it.
Yeah.
And not for show. Like, that's just, we're out here.
And that's what I was gonna say, from an authentic way.
I know you've partnered with Dion Taylor. How did that relationship come about? You and Dion getting together to, I guess you guys doing movies in the future together? And
well, Will stopped hiring me, so Dion. Will's one of my best friends. I am joking. I am joking. You gotta always, the moment you say a joke now, you gotta make sure, hey, I'm joking. The press release afterwards will be, Terrence says Will Packer stop. Yeah. No, Dion is incredible, man. I think he has an amazing cinematic eye. He's a black business owner. What him and Robert Smith and Roxanne are doing is phenomenal. I mean, that you've done the Meet the Blacks film, so I saw Meet the Blacks too. By the way, you crushed it.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, it's incredible.
When is that coming out, Dion?
We're working on that. We just left the edit, and it looks amazing. But yeah, I mean, look,
how did you and him
Dion.
Link? How did you link?
Me and Dion met we met one time in a restaurant randomly, and then I came on set of Meet the Blacks 2 to visit, I think either you or Brescia or Duval or somebody, and then we kind of met and had a rapport. And then I was in Hawaii shooting an MTV show, and Dion flew over to see me, and we just talked about film, and we just really hit it off. And like I said, I think Dion is a visionary, and I think it's the collective, man. I think what Will is doing is important. What Dion is doing is important. What Kenya and Lena and Issa, and just, I think there's a really, Michael B. Jordan, there's a really good group of us out there right now, and I think all of it is important.
You just said you met with Dion in Hawaii, and then also I remember when you had The Perfect Match come out, you flew right from there to go to Anguilla, right?
Oh yeah.
Did I remember that correctly?
Yeah.
And I don't get jealous a lot of people's careers, but sometimes I'll see where you're filming and I go, how the fuck did he get that gig? Listen, I don't know what show you did in Hawaii. There's no way you was working. Because all I saw was you and Michael B. Jordan and Stilo Brim on the golf carts. I go, what show is this? But it was every day. It was like for a week straight on your Instagram. I go, he's not working. This show's gonna fail.
That shows Are You the One? And it did not fail. It was good.
No, I'm kidding.
Good season. But I'm good with making things stretch out. So I can take a good 2 days or something and make it seem like it's a week. I'm very good at that.
How did you get tight with Michael B? Because he's one of the hottest guys out there right now, and you've been friends with him for a while.
Yeah, we were friends before he was scorching like this. We probably got. I think before Fruitvale, I think we got like more close like when he was doing Fantastic Four. But like I've known Mike since forever. I think he's super talented. But I think for me, one of my skill sets is recognizing greatness, man. Recognizing talent, man. I remember meeting him long ago and knowing like, oh God, this guy's gonna be a star, man. He's gonna be incredible. But he's got a great personality too. He's just a dope dude. So we hit it off because we have a love for basketball and video games, and he's just awesome, man.
In your garage, right? Do you have people sign your garage when they come over?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a video. You had a party. It was pre-COVID, clearly. Was it Christmas party?
Yes, yeah.
So you need another garage because everybody was at that bitch.
Yeah, it was insane, man. Puff was here. Meek Mills performed at the house. Meg Thee Stallion, Trey Songz, OT Genesis. This was.
Was that the plan?
Smokes. No. I woke up that day. It was me, Lenny S., Tiana Taylor, and my boy Jay Ryan, and we just wanted to do something real small. And then it was just one of those nights. And I remember Meek was in the studio with Lenny, and Lenny told Meek to pull up. And then when Meek pulled up, I called Puff. I was like, yo, man, you got to get out in these streets. So then Puff came, and then it just turned into one of those things. Meg was here. It was crazy. And then Pop Smoke, he performed here, and I got a chance to know him before he died, and he was so amazing. It was just one of those good nights.
And this is the same house that I stayed in a few years ago?
Where did you stay? I'm trying to remember if you was here or you was in the Hollywood Hills house.
You had the biggest couch I ever seen in my life. You did have a basketball court in the back.
I think you were here before I furnished this house. I hadn't furnished this house. So yeah, you were here in the very beginning.
Was the furniture fucked up after the party?
Oh, hell yeah. So what happened is that couch, there's a photo of me with the couch flipped all the way upside down. I think Trey Songz lost a bracelet that night. And him and his security were looking for the bracelet under the couch. And it was just 6 a.m. in the morning and everybody was just looking for it. And then by the time they all left, my entire couch was flipped and moved into a different section of the house. So it was crazy. But people always ask why I do, those type of parties and why I do it. I'm just man, I remember growing up how much house parties meant to me, and I just, I love my friends, I love people, and I love the opportunity to, have fun with the people I love the most.
And you got to have a cleaning lady on call.
Always,
for the next day.
Always.
That's what people say. I can't throw a house party, mess up my house. I go, that's why you got to have a cleaning lady on call. I'll pay you double. I need you to get here now.
Triple.
Let's get back to Deion Taylor. Do you have any, outside of Meet the Blacks 2, do you have any other projects in the works?
Yeah, so Fatale.
The Ely one.
Michael Ealy, Hilary Swank. I have a small cameo in that one. That one comes out. It was supposed to come out this summer. It'll be coming out in the fall now due to COVID. So we're really excited about that. We're working on a voting campaign. That's a big priority right now. It's called Be Woke Vote. So getting young people registered to vote is of the utmost importance. So that's what we're working on right now. And then we're doing a horror movie that's going to really change the game. So we're going to be shooting that in July, August. So I'll be starring in that and producing it along with them. And that script is phenomenal. So a lot of cool things.
Well, make sure when you're trying to get kids to register and everything else, all you got to do is call me, because my daughter is the next she's going to be the biggest activist at A&T. So you need people to register. That's who you need to call.
I can't wait to see her in action.
She's been to about 4 or 5 protest marches. There's a video of her. She brought the megaphone and was the one getting the chants going and loud. And I go,
well,
okay.
So, I mean, she took that from your personality, man.
Oh.
She took the swag. I love that.
She found her voice, and then you hear the people going, "Talk about it, girl." Okay, she got the clap going. Then the claps die down, and she comes off with another statistic. I was like, "Where's this chick been? Who is this chick?" So she definitely found her voice. So we're excited about A&T. But I don't want to hold you up anymore, man. I'm so glad you're on the show.
The 3 hours that we've already been.
Nah, once we're gonna edit. We had to edit it down. Terrence talked more shit about Denzel.
Oh, wow.
Everybody you won't want to work with. Diddy. Yeah, God. I can't believe you said that shit about Diddy, dude. Wow. Anyway. Anyways, I appreciate you coming on. Once I get in studio and it's all built and this is COVID over, then I want to have you and Fred on together. Because I want to get the whole backstory about the one-hitter quitter. I felt like
no more.
I felt like we skipped over that. That was a great world star hip hop moment. If it was out back then.
By the time we are in studio, I might have some videos. So I might have a video footage of him punching somebody.
I just can't, because Friends and me is the one that stops the fights.
He is now. No, that's what I'm saying. He's reformed. That's why we have to let our black men stay alive. Because the Fred now is not the Fred from 20 years ago. Yeah. You know, we gotta keep our young men alive, man.
Is that how it came? You need help with the flyers? I mean, I'm gonna help you. Well, okay, Fred. Plus, just the name Fred sounds like you would have a hard head and hard fist.
He does. I've seen him definitely punch a couple people out. But I mean, the Fred from now is not the Fred from 20 years ago for sure.
All right, man. Well, look, man, I love you, brother. I'm happy for all your success, and I'll see you next time I'm in LA and this is all over with, hopefully.
Come stay at the house. There's a new bedroom set down there for you. Come stay at the crib.
I get to sign the garage.
You get to sign the garage.
Did Trey Songz find his bracelet?
Never did find the bracelet.
All right, so it's in there somewhere.
Bye.
It's in there. All right, brother, take care, man.
Love you, bro.